I'm about 2 miles from where my truck is parked. I ride up in here a fair amount. This afternoon it's really quiet. I just hear crickets and a bunch of little birds. You're coming up on there's a creek here, it's called Liberty Creek. And I do a citizen scientist project up here. Every month I come up here and monitor the stream parameters, the oxygen level, the temperature, flow, depth of the water, the speed of the water. Then 3 times a year I do other extra work. I examine the different insects that are in the water. And then once a year I look at the the pebble structures in the creek. Here's the bridge. And my site that I monitor is right up there through the bushes. There's actually little fish in the stream. I don't know if you can see that, Stu. They're little trout, I think. They're very tiny. There's quite a few of them, and then there's crayfish also some people call them crayfish, crawdads. They look like little lobsters. There's some of those in this creek too. This section of the trail comes into a drier area. This is a ponderosa pine, quite large. There's a lot of them. This hillside faces west and it gets quite dry and hot in the afternoon, so that's a preference, the areas that the ponderosa pines prefer. The drier side, you'll get Douglas fir like this here and there, but the majority are ponderosa pine. You can hear the crickets, lots of crickets and some birds in the background. Okay, this area here is a wetlands. On the left there's a bunch of old dead ponderosa pines, but this looks like a bunch of grass, but there's a lot of water in there. And then Liberty Lake's just beyond the wetlands. Thousands of years ago this wetlands was lake, and over the years it fills in with sediment and turns into wetlands. And eventually it'll just turn into a meadow. But I was just riding over there on the other side. And again, good example of ponderosa pine forest up here. I saw a snake earlier. They're called bull snakes. They're not poisonous. It was probably about 3 feet long. Maybe I'll see it again. They can get quite large. They're beautiful animals. But, again, I just love the bark of the ponderosa pines, the big ones. And then we'll be coming into the campground here. The campground's closed for the season. But they've got signs posted saying, be careful, bear sightings, and sometimes they have signs that say there's cougar sightings, and I'm kind of like, well, whatever. I'm not worried about that. They pretty much leave you alone, and I've got a bell on my bike. called the bear bell. So when I'm riding in the trails by myself, I'll have that on, and when you hit a bump, it dingles, lets the animals know you're coming. But that's a problem too. If you want to see animals that aren't a bear or a cougar, they can hear you coming too. So anyway, it's nice on the trails for people hear the bell. Hello. Well, onward. Now coming into the day use area of the park. So it's a pretty good sized park. I sometimes think about that bear bell, and I wonder if it's a dinner bell for the bears. They hear that and they're like, oh, here comes some yummy human. I'm going to eat him up. No, just joking. But anyway, so most of this park facility is closed up for the season. Hello.
Hello.
They have a playground and barbecues, which are all covered up because the forest is so dry that if you had a barbecue going, you could risk having a big forest fire. There's a swimming area beyond the play area over there, and it's pretty nice. It has a couple docks that go out into the lake. So, yeah, here's my truck. Oh, I forgot to talk about all this gear. One of my buddies calls it my Chinguses. This is my bike computer, and it has maps and such on it. It tells me a lot of information. And this is a satellite communicator. It sends out my location to people I choose. And I can send an SOS out if I get into trouble. So this doesn't rely on the cellular network at all. This one does. But I always take this one too when I go into different areas, because you never know. You might be in the woods, think you have cell service and you don't. But anyway,